this year, there was a demonstration by the Ghana Textiles Workers Coalition over the influx of pirated fabrics on the Ghanaian market. As a result, the Ministry of Trade and Industry set up a 12-member vetting committee in May 2018 to assist the Anti-Textile Piracy Taskforce to deal with the issue of textile piracy in Ghana. But for many of the industry players, including Reverend Stephen Badu, who is marketing manager of GTP, the committee has failed to execute its mandate. I've been joined by Emmanuel Shandoff and John Kofi Abeka. They're both from the Coalition of Textile Workers. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here this morning. I remember the conversation we had earlier this year, and we were hoping that the next time we meet, we'll be talking about the good news with regards to dealing with the issue of textile piracy in Ghana. Let me start with you, John. What's happening now? Where are we with this particular fight?
Well, currently I can say that we have had a lot of conversations with government, and government promised us that by 1st of September they were going to roll out a tax stamp to identify the fabrics that are in the market that has the tax stamp and are properly paid their duties and VAT. And along the line, there were things that went wrong, and government called us again that the 1st September couldn't be possible. And so we should give them up to 15th of October. And so we have decided to agree with the terms of government, believing that it is going to work by the 15th of October. Currently, as we speak, we know that there are meetings that have gone on that are proving that government is trying their best to make sure that they are able to meet the 15th of October deadline by introducing the tax stamp and ensuring that the tax force also gets into the market. Like we stated earlier on in our first interview we had with you, the tax force mandate was changed from visiting the market to the borders. And we felt that wasn't proper. And that was why we had to demonstrate against that. But now government has agreed that if the tax force is introduced, then they are going to allow the tax force to enter the market.
Let me come to you, Emmanuel Shandoff. Your group is, you're always interested in promises. I can understand that you need to work with the Ministry of Trade and Industry on this. But could that be the reason for what we're seeing now? Because government keeps saying it and you keep believing it, and we are where we are.
You see, we're working with the government, all right? And it is the government that we want to do certain things for us. If we sit down with the government and then we discuss issues, and then we get feasible or conclusions that can be drawn to, then it means that we are getting somewhere. It's not as if we are comfortable with the promises, because we wish the government could have done something immediately for us to have our companies back in their former states, and then we're getting everything we want to. But it is the government that we have to work to. Even if we push and then push and push and push, every plea still goes to the government. So even though we are not comfortable with the promises that are coming, we have to wait and so on and so forth. 15th is just next week, Monday. So we just want to give government our cooperation and then see how best we can all get something good for our companies.
John, let me find out from you, these promises that you keep believing, could this be the reason that we are seeing lack of results?
Well, I would say that we were not comfortable with the promises that were coming, but we also want to make government aware that we are not an industry or a group that is more interested in just hitting the street, because it costs a lot to hit the street if you want to demonstrate. But we believe that once the right measures are put in place, it's going to make things work for us. And since they were promising us with the kind of things the minister told us, we felt if those things are implemented, it's going to help us. But we are looking for some drastic measures to be taken.
When you say drastic, what exactly are you looking for?
For instance, the tax force getting back to the market, seizing pirated products in the market. When these are seized and burnt for everybody to see on television, it's going to scare people from bringing in more pirated products. Because one, it's collapsing the industry. Apart from that, the government is also not generating any revenue from them. So it's not just about the industry players, but it's also about the government. They are not generating anything. So what would cause you to feel like not going there to arrest the people when they have smuggled the goods into the country?
Did government give you a reason at the time for why they've moved the task force to the borders instead of going with the regular operation that was done in the market?
The government made us to understand that the goods actually comes from the borders, and so there was the need to tackle it from the borders. But we also felt that there are already professionals working at the borders, and they are supposed to do their job. That's why they are being paid by government. So if they are not, they are allowing goods to be smuggled into the country, then they should be fired. So first of all, the borders must be strengthened, and the borders cannot be strengthened by the task force. The task force is made up of ordinary workers and other people who have come together, and so they cannot go to the borders to man the borders without ammunitions. But when they get to the market, there will be so many ways people will still be able to smuggle the things into the market. So when they get into the market, there should be another force in the market to ensure that those goods are seized.
So I understand you clearly. You think that there should be the border work done, but not by the task force?
Sure.
Okay. Emmanuel, we have been talking about this for a very, 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 very long time. And like he said, the task force hasn't been working for about 3 months now. So if I may ask, what have they been doing? Is it that those people have been rendered jobless?
No, we used to be part of the task force until their mandates were changed, all right? And just like John said, we believe that our workers are supposed to be in the factory, and then the task force is supposed to be in the market. And the security forces or the law agencies should be at the borders, because they have been adequately trained to man the borders and then prevent all such products from entering into the country. All right. So our workers are still working with us as a textile firm, but those that belongs to government, since the task force hasn't been that effective since we withdrew from that, they are also there.
So a task force exists, just that they don't have representatives, or there's no representative from the textile
industry
in that task force. But have you had the opportunity to engage the task force as it is now?
We were part of the task force.
Okay, but when you got out of it, have you had the opportunity to engage the existing task force now?
They are not actually working. They are not working.
They are not in operation.
They are not in operation. The last time we engaged them, I think their leader was in a town hall meeting with us at Alisa Hotel with the minister, and there's nothing going on, because the fact is that it's the workers who represent the industry on the task force. They know the designs of the industry. They know the designs. When they see a real GTP design, they know. If they see a real printer's design, they know. Likewise, ATL. So the GRA personnel doesn't know the designs. So if he gets to the market, there is no way he can seize a pirated product.
Well, when we spoke a few months ago, you didn't have a problem with foreign wax prints being brought into the country. Your issue was with your designs being pirated. You still stand by that?
We still stand by that.
Okay. Now, since the task force has not been working for some time now, have you observed what's happening in the market? What's happening with regards to your sales even?
Currently, the market is like a free place for all those pirated products to be brought in, because there's nobody checking. There's no policeman to safeguard the roads. So everybody's bringing everything in. Our borders are so porous, and everything is just being flooded into the country and on the market. Currently, we can say that if you look at the capacity of our economy in terms of textiles, we can actually produce for 40%, while the others are taking out 60% of it. But currently, it's not because we can't match up to that competition, but that is how the economy has been. If we even produce above what we are supposed to produce, it will not be bought, because the same design that we are printing, or our designs that we are producing, the same designs are being copied, and the labels and things are being printed on it, fake ones. All right. So now it's like, even if they buy the fake ones, they even call them textiles industries from Ghana products. Right. So the case is quite more.
So your sales have gone down since the task force went on a break?
We are really struggling.
Okay.
Since the task force went on a break, we are really struggling.
So what's the way forward now? I mean, I wish I could be asking a different question, but as it is, the problem still exists. So how do we move forward?
The way forward is simple. The task force must get back to the market. And the minister is saying that the task force getting back to the market is dependent on the tax stamp being introduced. That is why we are pushing and we are appealing to government that they should do everything possible to ensure that the tax stamp is introduced on the fabric. That is the only way they feel the tax force should get to the market.
Okay, and this reminds me of the tax stamp with regards to items produced on the market, like with a beverage, is it at your own cost, this tax stamp you talk about?
Yeah, the government is supposed to produce, order, and then they sell to the industry.
Okay. So your final word, Emmanuel, moving forward, how do we deal with this problem? How do we make sure that the next time I host you here, it won't be the same problem?
Well, we gave the government our word, and then he gave us 15th. 15th is just Monday, right? So Monday we're hoping to see something fruitful, all right? All the hustle and tussle, the ups and downs.
2 weeks from now?
Yes.
Okay.
We should see something, results, all right? Then it will mean that the government is really coming up to terms with us. And also want to tell the ordinary Ghanaian that today you're seeing it as just a textile problem, but tomorrow it might be other product that you are also dealing in. So it's not just textile industries crying, it should be a whole Ghanaian voice. Thank
you very much, gentlemen, for joining me. We were talking about Ghana's textile industry, and these men are from the Coalition of Textile Workers Union, and they are upset about the progress with dealing with the issue of piracy here in Ghana.